I want to take a moment to show off a cool live reload plugin that I found for PyCharm for Python. Before I show you how cool it is, I'm going to first just real quick walk you through the installation process. So I've got a Python project here for Google App Engine that I'm working with. It's basically listening on port 8080 for requests from an Express app that I have running on another server. This is the Python app, and what I'm going to do real quick is create a virtual environment and start that up. And what this basically allows me to do is install Python modules locally without having to override the stuff that's at the system level. So we've got the virtual environment installed. So now I'm going to install the live reload plugin with pip install live reload. And I think it takes it a second or two here, thanks to my slow internet connection. Kind of living in the past. I have the slowest internet you can possibly have and still have DSL. I think it's like 1.2 megabits per second. It's pretty pathetic. Okay, there we go. So we've got the live reload plugin, and to start it up, basically, you just type live reload, pretty simple and straightforward, and then you give it the name of the folder that you want to watch, which in this case is the current directory dot. And what it does is it starts a WebSocket server listening on port 35729, and it looks like it's actually doing some stuff here. If we go and look at the Express app, I went ahead and added this already because obviously I've been playing around with this for some time. For the live reload plugin to work, you do have to add a little bit of code to your application. In this case, I just added it to the load listener, window add event listener. Basically, what you're doing is just pulling in a file that's kind of attached to that port 35729, and basically it's not really magic. What's going on under the hood there is it's listening to the command line tool, which is watching what's happening in that folder, and basically as soon as I make any changes to those files, let's say for instance saving those files, something in here happens that basically tells the page to do a window.location.reloads. And nothing fancy, but it is pretty cool. So that's in place, and we've got this started up over here. So let's pull up the app. So this is the app listening on port 3000. I'm just going to refresh this so that we're sure that the live reload script is included. So now here's the cool part. Come over to Python. I'm learning Python right now. I'm a little behind, and I don't laugh, but basically what I'm working with here is trying to figure out how associative arrays work, which I'm sure for a professional Python developer is pretty simple, but I'm kind of been living under a rock. What can I say? But I really got tired of having to come back over here and hit reload every time I made a change, and then having to. Obviously, I keep a lot of windows open, so I'm one of those people that have to Alt-Tab through. It's just an Alt-Tab nightmare, and I get really kind of sick of that. So I installed I took time out of coding to go get this live reload plugin and install it. And now, whenever I hit save, let's go ahead and clear this log out here. Whenever I hit save, in this case it's a Mac, so it's Command S, you can see over here that it actually reloaded. And in the logs, you can see that the post request, it's a GET request, but details, right? The GET request that's being made from the browser is being logged over here in PyCharm, which is really cool because now I can sit here and focus on why I'm getting all these exceptions instead of having to constantly, Alt-Tab back and forth. So just show that one more time here. I'm going to click that, or clear that out rather, Command S, and everything reloads. So I'm focused here on the code, and there we go. So really cool stuff. If you want to learn more about that live reload plugin, I actually have that loaded up here on the page. Just search Python live reload, probably the first link that shows up, github.com/lecture/Python live reload, and it'll kind of walk you through part of the installation process. But I'm really hoping that this helps. It really helps me. I first learned about live reload when I started playing around with Node, and it just got me curious about how can we use a tool like that on other platforms to make us faster. And everybody knows that faster finishes first. So if you don't have a live reload plugin, I encourage you to go find out what would work for you and play around with it, see if you can improve your workflow. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter. My handle is jmort253. Thank you, and hopefully this helps.